welcome back to my channel. My name's Anita. Just finishing up some 2025 projects, one of which is my one little word. I finished this December 30th, but thought I would do a little flip through just before I get started on my 2026 album. I'll also show you what I've got started for that, which isn't a lot, but um, not sure I'll be sharing my 2026 album on a regular basis, but I might. We'll see. This project is usually a very personal project for me. I don't normally share anything from here, maybe a couple pages here and there on the groups, but I don't think I've ever shared my full album with anyone before. But we're going to do it anyway. So I use these Carpe Diem planner binders. You can't get these anymore. Carpe Diem doesn't exist, I don't think. Um, I had bought these a long time ago. I usually just rotate them out. Once it's full, I just take what I've already got done and store it in something else. Um, so I can continue to use these. I like that they're a little different than my normal story albums, and I like the size of them to bring with me places and whatnot, because it is kind of my little journal some years. But yeah, so with that, I'm gonna jump into this one. So my word for the year was iterate. I'll show you that in a sec. So these have little pockets in the side, which I usually just stick some stuff in. Right now, this one just has some quotes, and I had done this little painterly page to make cards for my January prompt. So I stuck the leftovers in here. Those have been in here all year. And I just have one of these little die cuts left over that got stuck in there. I'll sometimes use these pockets for things that I know I want to use, so I'll stick them in here so as a reminder that hey, you wanted to use that, and so that's in there. So I opened my album for 2025 with this die cut, just cut it out on my silhouette. Pretty sure Ali had done hers the exact same way as this. And I just added, so it had gold, like a gold print on there, like a foil print. So I had printed it out with that on it, and then just took some gold spray and splattered it around just to give it a little shine. I did that on both sides. And then this is how I opened my album, with this little insert, which is exactly, I think, how Ali had done it. Like I said, my word for the year was iterate, with companion words of growth, balance, and harmony. This is part of that page that I had done, the painterly page, um, and had cut up. Each month I do a selfie. I usually take it on the day that I'm doing the prompt. Whatever I look like that day, that's what ends up in here, usually with no makeup. Um, and usually my hair's not done, but I like doing that. Sometimes I'm smiling, sometimes I'm not. It just, it literally how I feel that day is what shows up in my album. Um, the bingo card was actually from the February prompt, but we'll get into that after. Um, and then January is always just the beginning, where we set our intentions for the year and go from there. I wanted more decluttering, more ease in our life, more organization, more calm, more movement, more physio, to hopefully have less pain, less stress, less anxiety. Not that I'm super stressed or super anxious, but um, just less of that. A focus this year was definitely decluttering our house. We are moving towards retirement, and early retirement, I should say, and downsizing and possibly moving in the next 2 years. So we're definitely trying to downsize our house right now. So that's a big focus of ours. In February, is the make it visible prompt. So like I said, that bingo card was part of February. I also did this vision board. This is I did this in Canva. I'm not great at Canva. I know some basics, but I did this in there. Um, it's just a free template that was available. And then I just put on some die cuts. I'm pretty sure someone else had used this exact one, possibly. I'm not sure. It's been too long now, I don't remember. None of these are my own photos. They're ones I just pulled from the internet or that I already had saved in Pinterest or just in my folder on my phone. I usually do a one little word folder for my photos and add quotes and things like that in there that I can put then in my albums. This was for the February, my selfie for February. And then I just have a little insert here to separate the months. So this is the March prompt, which is the practice prompt. So for my word iterate this year, I chose for the March prompt, I chose a morning practice to practice. Um, just kind of building on what I already had as a morning routine. But I also this year did a habit tracker in a traveler's notebook for each month of the year. Um, in there, I included personal goals, like each I switched them up each month, but like things like drink more water, or remember to take your vitamins, or get on the bike, or get on the treadmill, or whatever it was that year, what that month that I wanted to focus on. I always try to um, choose small, achievable goals. And then I also, every month, I had a create goal set that I wanted to do. So my goal for the year was to create every day for at least 5 minutes. So that could just be a journal entry, or it could be jelly printing all day. It didn't matter what it was. I wanted to do it every day. And each month I chose something different to focus on. So, for example, in January, I wanted to learn how to draw in Procreate. So I did that for January. And then another month it was focusing on jelly printing. Another month I did watercolor. Actually, that book is right here. I started it in August and then continued it on in September, but I just had this little book that was screaming to get used. So I started just painting every day. I did this, I don't remember when that was, August. It was probably for the August prompt, actually. Um, I had started here and done this and then just kept on going and just every day, kind of like just a daily watercolor, and continued on into September and just kept going. Some days it was just marks, and other days it was something I was actually drawing. And I'm not good at it. But I just kept going. This is just a jelly print that I had stuck in here. Anyway, but yeah, so that was for another month. And then for March, I did the morning practice was what I actually kept track of. And then my creative goal or creative focus that month was a Vicky Boutin class that for acrylics, and we did watercolor and whatnot, where it was a color theory kind of class. So that's where these came from, were ones that I had done with her. And then this is the April prompt. Yes, April prompt, which was a conversation with your word. I'm not going to lie, this one was scary for me. I'm not a wordsmith by any means, but Liz made it easy. We had these little prompts. This one I stuck back to back. I didn't stick this one back to back, but um, I kept them in here. And then you took these prompts here to write a poem. This was the scary part for me. This part I could do, but taking this and then making it into this was scary, but I did it anyway. And I'm so glad I did. I love the way it turned out. Um, I, yeah, I sat on my deck one morning with my coffee and a spark came and, yeah, there, my poem got written in like 5 minutes, taking this and yeah, loved it. So I think Allie did hers this way as well, where if I printed the poem out on vellum and then added the transparency in behind and then just stitched it on along the top. But then I chose to add this in here. This was something I had done for something, one of my creative days or whatever, with just some quotes like movement is medicine, growing into my tomorrow self, I am who I am. I think I had done this maybe when I was listening to the Zoom call, possibly. Um, and then I cut it down. It was a little larger than it is here, but I cut it down to add into my album. I just love the way the colors look in behind that transparency. So that's where I added that. And then the May prompt was the manifesto prompt. So core values is what we were focusing on. Um, this one came together really quickly. It was a lot of there was some lead up to it. There was some prompts and things to follow and a list of core values and like a process. But the actual doing the page was super simple. I just took this prompt paper and stamped on it and did this. Um, Someone else had used this, I think. Maybe Azari? I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure this was inspiration from someone else. Um, but yeah, so that was for May. The June prompt was focusing on companion words and past words. So I chose just these 6 words that um, relate to the word I had this year. So these 4 directly relate. So less, open, focus, habit directly relate to this year's word. And then patience and renew are both words that come up year after year for me. So I added those in there as well. And then my little selfie and just some reflections. And then July is a mid-year check-in always. So it's just a writing prompt. Again, just super easy. Took a day and did that. Um, this I don't know if I did this in July or I think I did this in August because that's what was in my watercolor book. So I think I did this along with this. Allie had done a page like this. And I really loved it. So I did it as well. So it's just I took this paper right out of a dictionary that I have that I use for jelly printing, stamped 3 butterflies on it, and wrote this out in Posca pen. Simple and easy. The prompt for the month was small wins. So I chose to do 5 pictures. I did 4 of them as 3x4s, and then 1 long photo, and uh, made myself a page with the die cuts. Um, Images, just made this and printed this, or maybe this came like this. I'm not sure. Anyway, these are the die cuts and the small wins, and then just wrote on them. And then this is the September prompt, which is this 5 senses prompt. So relating our words to the 5 senses this month. This is a 6x8 photo that I've just adhered to a page protector. I had done the prompt this way. So just 4 3x4 cards. These are vellum left over from that pocket I had made earlier that I've adhered down to this card here. There's a little bit of sewing there. I'm pretty sure this is Allie may have done hers this way. I know I copied this from somewhere where I'm just not sure whose it is. But then my journaling that relates to the scents and the photos. This was just a day I um, chose to do just one day photos. My husband and I had gone to a market, the Garlic Festival market. Um, and I chose photos from that day and related my word to that. So that's where this came from. So I had done this first, needed something for this side, didn't want to do 3 photos or 4 photos or anything. So I chose to do a large photo on top of the page protector. So that's that. September, no, not September, October was the let go and play prompt, which I loved um, because had been playing all year. So this was just a continuation of that. So in October, I was jelly printing a lot that month. That was my focus. So I took and did specific colors and specific pages related to this project kind of thing. Took and made took one page and made just abstract out of all of my prints that I had done and cut those out into 3x4s. So that's where that came from. And then this one, I took a bunch of my jelly prints and cut them into strips and then did this brick page, and then sewed on top. And then some of this is medical exam paper that I print on. So this blue and the yellow and this pink are all paint that are on top of that medical exam paper. But the strip actually starts here and goes all the way to here. All of this is paper on top of another jelly print. But because when you get medical exam paper wet, it disappears into the background. So you can't tell that there's anything on top here. It's just showing the background through. So it makes some really cool patterns. Like you can't really, I mean, you can see the brick pattern, but there's also patterns that overlap one another. And that's the medical exam paper that you can see. Anyway, loved this prompt. This is November, which is Lens of Gratitude. So I just took pictures from each month of the year and added them into here. There's no journaling or anything for this one. This is it. I just did pictures and I love it. It's easy enough. Looking at it, no one else would know necessarily what any of this means, but to me, it relates to my word and I know exactly how it relates, and that's all that matters. Um, so December is always the closing, saying goodbye to our word, getting ready for the next year, reflecting on the year. So I just did a large photo and then filled out my prompts. These are just little strips left over from the jelly prints that I had done in October, just to kind of separate my thoughts. And then the remembering this word and getting ready for the next year. So that's the end of the 2025 album. And I'll just show you um, what I have done so far for 2026. So for 2025 and for 2026, I'm just using the digital kit that comes with the class. The only thing I bought last year and I will buy for this year is the transparency and vellum papers. I just find it easier to buy them sometimes than trying to print them out. Printing on vellum is easy. Printing on transparency doesn't always come out the same way. The weight's not the same. um, and Allie's vellum now is a little different than it was before, and I really like the texture of it. So um, we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to use another one of the Carpe Diem planner albums. I just have some of the 3x4s stuck in here and a couple of older ones that were in my stash ready for a bit more ease. Um, have nothing in your house that you do not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful. This is kind of a mantra of ours right now, um, for getting rid of things in our house. So all I've done so far is print some things. I've printed some papers, printed out my prompts and um, the journal cards and the cards for the January prompt. um, One of the things that Ali has this year is, I'm just going to stick this in here for now. Um, are our reflection cards, which for each month, which I love because I think I kind of want to be more reflective this year for each month and actually do a little more journaling. So these I love. And then I also want to do a focus each month again, like I did this year. So for the first few months, yeah, for 3 months, I've printed this card off 3 times And then in Photoshop, I took just a strip from the reflections card for the month and added it to the bottom so that they match. I'm not sure I'm going to leave this in here. I still have to think about it a little more. I may do the Traveler's Notebook again, um, and use it as a journal. And actually, these two things may end up in the Traveler's Notebook instead. But for now, I've left them in here. And I may still do this in here too, just as a holding place for it. Like I can do the actual work in the Traveler's Notebook, but then just kind of bring it over to here just to have it all in one place. We'll see. I'm going to decide that when I actually sit down to do this prompt because I haven't done it yet. I did do the little die cut again for the front. I kind of like opening it this way. Because some years, I have some years up on my shelf that I have no idea what year it's from because I didn't write down the date. I have the word, but I don't know what year it's from. So I like having this in here to know for sure. So I printed this, or didn't print it. Well, I did print it. I printed it on my laser printer and then ran it through my Mink to get the dots to be shiny. And then cut it out on my silhouette. And I also cut one of the papers um, in the reverse, the mirror image to get the back and then just adhere them together. It's just on thin cardstock. It's not super sturdy. And I wanted to use this. This is something that was left over from last year's kit that I loved and I wanted to use. So I've stuck this in the front. And then I was watching, I'm pretty sure it was Allie, when she was setting up her album. She used this as well in her beginning page. And I was thinking of putting a selfie here or possibly a shaker. And I think that's what she did too. I think she has a picture here of herself when she was younger, possibly. But that's what I was thinking of doing as well. And then um, I was going to back it with this one because the colors match really nicely. And I just love this piece of paper. I feel like this piece of paper is going to get used a lot. But yeah, so that's how I plan to open my album. And then I have these here. I'm not sure I'm going to use this as is. I may cut this out and put it over here, and this, I'll still use this background, but this will probably be where I put what my actual word is on there. And then I have my prompt pages printed out, but not filled out yet. And then I've backed this one with this paper, which looked like this originally, but I took it into Photoshop and made it just a little bit different um, to fit on the back of that the way I wanted it to. And then, yeah, I have these done. Then the other thing I've done is print a few of the die cuts. I haven't print and cut everything yet. I just have a few things done. Um, these I printed and then used a circle punch to cut out, but it got rid of a lot of the border. So I think I'm going to do print and cut for those to have a more of the color on there. I was more or less just testing out my papers. Um, I did a few different ones, presentation matte paper. I have a flyer matte paper that I used. And then I also used Astro Brights. I think I have the thing right here. I do. Astro Brights Premium Smooth cardstock. This is actually the one that I like the best. I like the weight of it and I like the way the colors show up on it. So I'll probably be using it for my printing this year, my print and cut for the die cuts and things. The other thing I did was print and cut the puffy stickers. So normally these are the puffy stickers that we normally get in kits and things, and I have tons of them, but I wanted them to match the colors of the kit. And I don't see an option to buy them separately without buying the full main kit, which I don't feel like I need to buy. So what I did was print and cut from the digital file. They are the same size, I guess. Yeah, they are the same size. They look smaller in my hand than they do on here, but when you put them on top, they are the same size. So I guess they're fine. But what I did was print and cut them. and then put glossy accents on top. So it makes them shiny. I think you can see that in the, see if I can get this to shine. Yeah, there we go. So they're shiny. They're just a little bit puffy. I mean, they're not as puffy as the puffy stickers themselves are. But what I will do next is cut some more of these in the same size in just regular old cardstock. And then if I want them to be raised a little more, I'll just adhere these to more like the cardstock die cut to make them puff up a little more. But yeah, I thought that was cute. I like the color of them. So they match the kit, obviously, but because they're shiny, it makes them just a little darker. You can really see like those are the same color printed out on the same paper and everything. And you can see the difference. Same color, but just a little different. So yeah, so that's all I have done for 2026. Oh, and I didn't say what my 2026 word is going to be. I'm pretty sure I'm still kind of muddling it over. It's January the 8th today, I think. Yeah, January 8th. Um, and I'm pretty sure my word for the year is rhythm. I've been kind of living with it for the last 8 days, and I'm liking it. And I think it's a good continuation of last year's word. And since I loved it so much, I kind of wanted to have it continue on. So I'm pretty sure that's where I'm headed. I'm still waiting for some product in the mail. So when that comes, I will get started on my prompt hopefully next week and make it official. So thanks for watching my little flip through, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.